We're not giving up.
Yeah, we are. No, give him on base. Trust me. We, oh no, what am I talking about? It's Yerushalmi. Base on the base. Base on the base.
Oh, okay.
Yerushalmi starts with Daf Aleph. Yeah, base on the base.
Oh, okay. I know it wasn't.
Yeah. We are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines down on base on the base. Okay. I can't stress that there's a couple of can't stress enough that a couple of important things in the first couple of books. But we can get along without them tonight. This is it's good stuff tonight too. It's just I don't know. I hope I don't fall asleep. How do you know that anything above 10 tefachim in general is considered to be a separate reshus? So Rabbi Avo b'Shem Hashem Eloi says, "V'no'ati l'chasham." It says, Hashem says to Moshe, "I will meet with you there. I'll speak to you me'al kaporos on top of the kaporos." This is actually in the Bavli as well. And Stephen says, "I spoke to you from the heavens." So we see that Hashem always remains in the heavens. So it must be that above 10 tefachim is considered to be the heavens, considered to be a separate reshus, a separate domain. Just like over there, it says that Hashem spoke from a separate domain, from the Shemaim. So here, the God spoke from Reshus Acheres, from a separate domain, from the Shemaim. Ask more. Wait a minute. Our own Lotisha Tvachim, isn't there only 9 Tvachim? It's not 10 Tvachim. Says the word. The Kaporos Tefach. The Kaporos itself adds another Tefach. Oh, this is Mamish Bavli straight. How do we know? The kaporos is the tefach. We know the kaporos shiur is the tefach. So it says the Gemara. Tana Rabbi Chanina ben Shmuel said, "Kol hakelim she'u mikdash, all the kelim in the mikdash adnos na Torah midas orkan v'rachban." The Torah gave the measure of their length and their width. B'shir kamas and the measure of their height. Chuti kaporos of the kaporos shenos na Torah midas orkan. The Torah gave the length of the kaporos, the rachman, the width of the kaporos, will not share kamas and does not give the height of the kaporos. Okay? Now, how do we know that it's the tefach then? The modern mikli calls it shemikdash. Learn from the smallest vessel in the Beit HaMikdash. What's the smallest vessel? Vasislam iskeres tefach saviv. Make a rim for the table, which is a tefach all around. Makan tefach, just like the rim for the table was a tefach. Avkan tefach, the bro is also tefach. This is Marahu says, maybe it's like the zer, maybe it's like the little adorning crown around the rim of the table. Makan koshu, the rim is a mashu. Avkan koshu, so to the kaparos of the mashu. Maikadun, so what's the conclusion? How do we know that it was a tefach? Now I want you to know, the Bavli brings down in this sugya, not exactly this point, but somewhere this point, tafasta merubah lo tafasta, tafasta more tafasta. If you go for the bigger thing, you don't have a measure. If you go for the small thing, you do. But the Yerushalmi doesn't bring that down, and I don't know if the Yerushalmi holds to that principle. I don't know. I don't recall ever having the Yerushalmi. I don't remember Yerushalmi so well. You guys remember better than me. Remember ever? That's not funny. It's true, especially him. He remembers much better than I do. Tafasta, but do you remember Yerushalmi ever bring down the principle? I don't remember Yerushalmi. Tafasta merubah lo tafasta, tafasta more tafasta. If you take the bigger measure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you heard in Bavli. If you Yerushalmi,
if you take a bigger measure,
it doesn't count. It's not as valid as when you take a smaller measure, because you're on the safe side with a smaller measure. Anyway, so Yerushalmi does bring down this lima, which is from the Bavli. Mike Kadum, what's the conclusion? Rabbi is never listed tefach. Rabbi Yossi boy. Rabbi Yossi asked, I don't understand something. How can you say, now this also was in the Yerushalmi way back when in Eruvin. How can you say that that above the Oren is a separate reshus? The Oren is standing inside the Kodesh, right? Is a stender inside a house a separate reshus than the house? It's the same reshus, right? A bima. So what makes it a separate reshus? How can you say above the aron is a separate reshus than the aron itself? It was standing inside a building, right? So as the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef boy, if you have a closet or a cabinet standing inside a house, no matter how high it is, you're not allowed to take something from inside the closet into the house. You buy something from the house into the closet because it's separate shoes? Of course not. How can you consider separate shoes? Ella, so says Yerushalmi, you're right. I'll tell you when it's a separate shoes, the yarn. Fascinating thing the Korban says, I don't remember this from Erevin, but we had a doc in Erevin. It says that when they used to camp, they put the arm down, the arm would serve as a compass and would actually automatically adjust to be east-west. So at that point, they put the aron down first. I don't know the Korban gets it. That's his taich. Put the aron down first, the aron would be distinct. It would be before the Mishkan went up over it. So therefore, the aron at that point, when it was acting as a compass, was a separate, on top of the aron was a separate rishus, because there wasn't yet a structure over it at that point. It's a fascinating concept, because it actually goes against the Torah, because the Torah says they first built the Mishkan and then put the aron inside. But that's obviously only the first time around. Later on, when they, according to this Gemara, again, whenever they used to camp, they would actually put the aron first and then build the Mishkan around it. Okay? It says more further. That makes sense to Shishok. Makes sense according to Pei Joel that Amos 6 Tvachim. So therefore the aron was 9 Tvachim and the Kapparos was 1. The Beit Midrash is 5 Tvachim. It wasn't the aron 7.5. So how do we know the 10 Tvachim is Taka, the height of a new rishus? So Rabbi Yaakov the Rabbi Yaakov told over the base Rabbi Yana, Rabbi Shimon Yotzog, Malutz house, Rabbi Yana, Rabbi Shimon Yotzog. Chadi min Oroy, one learns out of the Oroy, and one learns the Oroy 10 Tvachim high. The Chad and the other one, the only thing now go lois, they learn from the wagons. We'll come back to in a minute. We don't know. Mandi olive, mandi olive, mandi olive, goes. We don't know who learned from what. Misab the Beis Rabbi Yana, Yafi learn Aron. So I must be the logic that it's the house Rabbi Yana learned from the Aron. The Beis Rabbi Yana, Omri, it's the house Rabbi Yana. They said Aron Tisha Kapparos Tefach. The Aron was 9, and the Kapparos was the Tefach. And Rosh Hashanah Yotzadok by default, the olive Lomina Golos. We must learn out from the wagons. Now, ask the Gemara. I learn like the Ritbaz here. Rabbi Zira boy, Minayla go Shen Gavosa Sola. How do you know the wagons were 10 Tvachim high? Says Rabbi Yosef, I feel Tema Gavosa Sola. Even if they were 10 Tvachim high. It's no right from them. Loke Tani B'Shem Rabbi Nechemia. Didn't we learn name Rabbi Nechemia? Tzav. It says Egleit Tzav. They were turtle wagons. You know what a turtle wagon looks like? No, you think of turtle wax.
No.
You know what? It's got a shit on top. It's like a Conestoga wagon. So therefore, how do you know 10 Tvachim separate shoes? There might be separate shoes because you were putting it inside. So it's a turtle wagon, right? It means kamarsta. Kamarsta means something. Yeah, do you remember from the Gemara in Bavli? But the Bavli doesn't say it was a covered wagon. The Bavli in Shabbos does not say covered wagon, right? Okay, it does not say that. Remember, it doesn't say covered wagon in the Bavli? Okay, it's got to be Bekiya and Bavli and Yerushalmi by now. Back and forth, no excuses. So, Kamin Kamarsta. So it's like a turtle, right? So it's like a covered wagon. So this is more Yiluchor B'Shus HaRabim. Of course, if you have a hole in the Shus HaRabim, Kavos HaVarocha V'Arba, and it's for 10 Tvachim high inside, and 4 Tvachim wide inside, Shemei Nos L'Ishtam Shitol L'Shus HaRabim, you think it's not awesome to put something from Shus HaRabim into it, and from it into Shus HaRabim? Of course, that's the quintessential Shus HaYachid, right? Because it's a separate internal entity. Right? I need to know that something external above 10 Tvachim is separate shus. How do I know that? So says Yerushalmi, when he used to put the beams from one to the other, at that point the turtle shells were open, and then it was still considered to be a separate shus. Okay. Tani, new sugya. Rabbi says, now I want you to know, anybody here learn Masech the Sukkah in the Bavli recently? No. Did you ever learn Sukkah? Did you learn Sukkah last time around? Did you learn Sukkah at all? Ever learn Sukkah? Right? Okay. This is completely different. Yerushalmi has a completely different view of what a Sukkah looks like than the Bavli. Really, very different. Okay? So that's more very exciting. Tana Rebbe Omer Arba Amos Abli Shein Shem Arba Tfanos. Boom! If four amos is the shiur of a Sukkah, it makes no difference how many walls it has. Okay? You only need 4 walls. Now, maybe you still need 3, that's what we're going to discuss. But you still don't need 4 walls. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Arba Tfanos, Hava Bisha Ein Shem Arba Amos. 4 walls, even if you don't have 4 amos. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Arba Amos with Arba Tfanos. According to the gears in front of us, so you need both. But the Karmeid and Pnei Moshe both dismissed the Girsa. Pnei Moshe's Karmeid's Girsa is Afa Bisha Ein Shem Arba Amos Arba Tfanos. You don't need that. Okay? Nonetheless, V'chein Rabbi Yehuda Mechai bin Mezuzah. Rabbi Yehuda holds that a Sukkah requires a Mezuzah. It's on the Bavli. Tosfos brings down the Bavli. Ask somebody today. Tosfos on the Bavli. It's on the Bavli. He holds Sukkah's Chaim Mezuzah because he holds a Sukkah is a permanent abode. That's why it can be very tall. But it's even if it's not 4 amos and 4 walls, according to Karmeid's Girsa. No matter how small it is, it's a permanent abode and therefore requires a mezuzah. It's like the Lishka of the Kohen Gadol, where the Kohen Gadol used to say Lishkas Parhedrin. We had the beginning of Masech the Yuma. Lishkas Parhedrin needed the Sukkah because the Kohen needed a wall corner, needed mezuzah according to Rabbi Yehuda because the Kohen Gadol lived there for 7 days. So the same thing with the Sukkah. Okay? So it says Gemara, even though it doesn't have 4 amos nor 4 walls, it still is Chai Mezuzah. Now it makes sense to say that Rabbi Yehuda concede to those rabbis, Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi, but they don't concede to him. They hold even if it had 4 amos and it had 4 walls, she exempt from mezuzah, and besides that, it's not a house, and therefore ain't tovel some meisers. If you bring your untight tevel into it, you don't automatically become required to be meiser before you eat them, as what happens when you bring food into your house. Okay? Rabbi Shimon says you need 4 walls. Rabbanan say you need 3 walls. Now the drushes we're going to bring down similar to the Bavli, but not precisely the same. It's the logic of the Rabbanan. Sukkos says 3 times Sukkos. Hari Sholosh, that's 3. Echol Marlon. Get ready for this one. Echol Marlon. 1 wall on top. Vishtayim Mato, 2 walls on the 2 sides. Vashlishis Midivayan. The 3rd wall of the Sukkah is only the Rabbanan according to him. A Sukkah only needs 2 walls to Raisa. The Bavli never has such a shita. 2 walls, that's it. The 3rd wall is the Rabbanan. What?
You don't need the mashu.
Only the Rabbanan, not the Raisa. Yep. Okay? Amazing concept, right? And this is the Rabbanan. This is not just one opinion, right? It's the Rabbanan. The 3rd wall is the Rabbanan. What?
Sure.
It's interesting. It's taka, a shelter, and not a house. That's what they say. It's a shelter, not a house. My time is Rabbi Shimon. What's Rabbi Shimon? He holds you need more walls than that. So he holds these sukkos, mole. The last time it says sukkos, it's written with a vav. It says sukkos. Hare arba, that's 4. Achas amal, 1 is the schach. The shlosh mata, 3 walls. Varvis midivrei, and the 4th wall is the Rabbanan. Okay, so he holds just adds 1. Rabbi Chia Barada Amar, Trainer Moirin, Two Amoraim, Chanam Atam Rabbanan, one said the logic for Rabbanan, Vechorana, my time of the Rabbi Shimon, the other one said the logic of Rabbi Shimon, my time of the Rabbanan, what's the logic of Rabbanan, who say, like Mr. Zuger, only 2 walls, because it says, V'sukkah tiel etzel yoima mechorev. Right? Sukkah has to be a shelter, right? A shadow from sun, right? Hareachos l'malon. So you need only one on top, right? But the truth is you need more than that. He really argues. He holds that even there are rice, you need 3. Sukkah harei shalosh. So he actually this more argues. He holds you need 3 walls. The Raisa, okay, not just 2. Rabbi Shimon, what about Rabbi Shimon? My time, Rabbi Shimon. The Sukkah Tzel Yom Mechorev Harachas Aman. That's 1 in on top. Sukkah, and then it says Sukkahs and Sukkahs. Mole Hare Arba. That's 4. Now the truth is, this is a major sleight of hand. It's mamish. The Yerushalmi just robbed you guys blind, and you didn't even notice. The Yerushalmi is combining a pasuk in Yeshaya with a pasuk in Chumash. The pasuk in Yeshaya is teaching you the nature of the schach, and the pasukim in Chumash are teaching you the walls. So you have to say that Yerushalmi means to tell us that the idea of schach is a logical one, logical derivation, indicated by the pasuk in Yeshaya, not that we're actually learning out from the pasuk in Yeshaya. So you need schach, and besides that, you need walls based on the number of sukkahs. But that's not such a good answer. The question is better how we possibly can combine Yeshaya and Vayikra in order to teach us a drasha.
How can you learn halacha
from Navi, right? Good question, right?
But we've said that Yerushalmi does that more often than Baba.
Yeah, we have seen more often. I don't know if it's definitive. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. Rabbana the Kesar and Shaman time of the Rabbi Shimon, the time of the Rabbana Minadein Korea. They both learn from this pasuk itself, the pasuk in Yeshaya. The Sukkah Tiel Etzel Yoma Michor. It should be a shade from the day in the during the day from meat. That's 1. L'machsel Misar Reish Shtayim. That's 2. Mizerem Umimoter. It says Machsel Misar means a covering and a shelter and a hiding place. That's 2. Mizerem Umimoter from flows and from rains. Rabbanan Abdim Mizerem Moter Achaz. It says the same thing. So it's yet 1/3 wall. Rabbi Shimon Avan Mizerem Moter Shtayim. It's 2 walls. Okay, which is 4 walls altogether. Vitani Kain. Now it's really a new sugya that says Vitani. Excuse me, Vitani Kain. We learned Shtayim Kil Chosim. 2 are normal walls. Vashlish Safil Tefach. On the 3rd wall is even a tefach. And that's in the Bavli. However, this is not. Rabbi Chaim Shem Riel said Shtayim Shel Arba Tefachim Vashlish Safil Tefach Kosher. You only have to have 2 walls of 4 tefachim each. We saw this last night already, but you guys are seeing it for the first time. 2 walls of 4 tefachim each, and the 3rd could be a tefach. So actually, what's the total perimeter of a minimum size sukkah? 28 tefachim. How much of that actually has to be wall? According to the sugya? 9. 4, 4, and 1. So it's actually a measly actual wall the sukkah has. It's not even a majority of wall. Really, the Bavli doesn't bring down such a shita. The Bavli just brings down 7, 7, and 1. And the Yerushalmi brings down 4, 4, and 1.
Now, in Aaron, when you had
we're getting there. Don't ask. We'll get there later. Rabbi Chia b'Shem Rabbi Yochanan said, oh no, I skipped. I went back. Rabbi Yoshia, boy. Rabbi Yoshia asked, Oso shel tefach, shenosam be'emtza ma'u. With that tefach, where do you put it? Do you put it in the middle, or do you put it on the side somewhere? Right, to the third wall of the tefach. So, Chazav Omar, Osi, then he asked another question. Osin shel arba tefachim, shenosam be'emtza ma'u. What about those walls of 4 tefachim? Do you put them in the middle or the side or not? Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha Kadin Uvda Asa Kumi Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha said such a mice came to Rabbi Yossi V'achshur, and he said it's kosher. It's kosher. So you have the 4 in the middle of one side, 4 in the middle of the side, 1 down in the middle of the other side. It's kosher sukkah. The Tani came, we learned Chatzir Shamudi Makivin Isa. If you have a courtyard which is surrounded by pillars, Harei Hamudim Kitfonos, the pillars like walls, and therefore maybe here we could say the same thing, that no matter where they're placed, they're still like walls. Now I think when this Yerushalmi, it's mashing to me a little bit, although later on I think we'll see it probably not like that. That you do have to have a Tzuras HaPesach besides the 4 and 4. Because otherwise, how can you say that the poles are connected if there are no poles? Just 4 here and 4 here and 1 here. So I think that somehow there are probably poles at the corner besides the actual substance of the wall. But it's just a hunch of the way how to read the Gemara. I don't know it explicitly from anywhere. In any event, says the Gemara, V'amasnito pliga. Doesn't the Mishnah argue, or the Brisa argue? It says, Asuyas ki hilchson ksheros. That's if it's made properly, it's kosher. Shalogin, if it's not made properly, psulos. And sorry, maybe they wanted to say, so what is when it's not made properly? We're in the middle of the side. And that's no good. I'm sure you said, no, that is good. What's no good? When the walls are not opposite each other. Rav said, also shel tefach, tzricha shetei meshucha min hakoisel tefach. The one which is the third wall, which is of tefach, has to be tefach away from the adjacent wall. Okay, is that clear? Tefach away from adjacent wall. Shmuel marafil knusa kaba, even if it's much further away. Roy no sokilu yetzi. We look at it as if it comes out of the other 2 walls. Rabbi Barshami on Rabbi Yirmiyah Rab said, "Afilu knusa kama, even if it's much further away from the wall. Roy no sokilu yetzi. We see it if it's connected." Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha, Rabbi Yochanan Shem Elokish Chad Kadein v'Chad Kadein. Each one held like one of the opinions of this machlokas. Kana v'Asa, however, Rav Kana and Rav Kaza, all involved in Kumi Rav. They went in and started questioning that which Rav said until Rav changed his mind and said, "Cause Shmuel said, like Shmuel can even be some distance away." Rabbi Yehuda Bar Pozishem Rishon ben Levi said, "Yeah, some distance, but not completely. It's got to be within 3 tefachim of the side. It can be more than a tefach away, but it's got to be less than 3 tefachim away, in order to say love it to the walls adjacent there too." Okay? Rabbi Yitzchak said, "Noatz arba kanim." If you stuck 4 pegs in the ground, ba'arba zavil shokerem, on 4 ends of a vineyard, 4 sides of a vineyard, the kosher kemi yamalani, you stuck a piece of hemp on top, matzu mishum peo, so that's considered to be a tzuras HaPesach, and it saves the areas from being combined and creating a situation of kilayim. Rabbi Yochanan said, "Mechitza Shabbos," the same parameters which apply to Mechitza Shabbos, came Mechitza Kilayim, so to apply to the wall of kilayim. Rabbi Yochanan said, "Ma'isa," the story showed Rabbi Shimon Korcha ate Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Shimon Korcha went to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri l'nigud. V'hereu sodeh achas. He saw showed him a certain field. It's called bitarta. And obviously there was a problem of kilayim there, that there were vines growing in one field and grain in the other field. There were breaks more than amos of gap. And he would take a piece of wood, Visosim, and close the gaps, Vidukronim and pegs, Visosim, and close the gap, Achimitam Pachas Masar, until he made them less than 10 Fachim. Because once the gap's less than 10 Fachim, so we say, Oim Meruva Porus, and the 2 areas are connected, and there wouldn't be no problem by climb. Amru, Omar, Yochanan Zuri said, Kazeh, came Mechitza Shabbos. The walls of Shabbos work the same way. Omar Zuri said, Moed Rabbi Shimon Lakish Liyot Shabbos. When Shimon Lakish concedes vis-a-vis Shabbos, Shein HaPeah Matzel Seis Miyaseh. This is actually the sheet of the Yerushalmi and the sheet of the Rambam. One of the many brisker chumras is that Tzuras HaPesach does not work for more than 10 amos. The Tzuras Pesach have within 10 amos of each one. Unless, in the area other than when you have Tzuras Pesach, you have Oimim Rubel parts. Then it can be even further apart. But if you're using an area complete based Tzuras Pesach, they have to be every 10 amos, not further away than that. Okay? That's the Yerushalmi. And the Bavli, as I said. Rabbi Chai said, Masisa Merkain. I got a Mishnah like this, because it says, if you find yourself in a cavern in the desert, you make a fence with three ropes, each one within 3 tefachim of the other one, serving as your fence. Now, if you say that a Tzuras Pesach saves even more than for 10 amos across, why do they need 3 ropes across the side of their fences? Just have 1 rope on top of their fence. What's the big deal? So it must be Tzuras Pesach doesn't work. Rabbi Yosha said, also another question, how does Tzuras Pesach work? Milomalon, minatzad. Does the Tzuras Pesach has to be directly over the poles, or could be in the side of the poles? Now I'm going to read this like Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Remember him? Chaim Kanievsky, this is the Sugi in Eruvin, so he actually changes the gears. So the Korban Eidah leaves the gears as it's in front of us. Chaim Kanievsky there in Eruvin, I looked it up, he changes the girsa. Changes like this. If you're going to say Tzuras Pesach minatzad, on the side works, Koshke milamala, that certainly works on top, right? If you're going to say that Tzuras Pesach works on top, ha minatzad low, then it certainly doesn't work on the side. Now, again, Tzuras Pesach, just to refresh your memory, I'm sure you don't need this refresher course, but this is a good Tzuras Pesach, right? Because it's on top.
Right.
It's on top. Now, on the side would be if this pole was not on here over the top, but rather on here over the side.
Oh, in the middle of
Okay. So we actually pass one of those mics. Tzuras Pesach means the model of words, but not Tzuras Pesach means outside. Okay? So, says Yerushalmi. Oh, is that a new one? You just went down and bought a bicycle too? Very impressive. What? Your Moser Nefesh for Torah.
No way to keep my
Parking space.
I still get it.
Yeah. Should get a light. Do you have a lamp?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What? I'm sorry, if you're going to say that the string works only on the side, Yos Hari Chagai, then Rabbi Chagai said good. That in that case, make the string on instead of making 3 strings, make 1 string on the side. If you're going to say that Imin Atzad also works, so Rabbi Chagai didn't say anything, because if that's the case, no, I forgot how this means. Just a second. Oh, okay. I got it wrong. If you're going to say that there it's about Tzuras Pesach mitzad, not even that works by Shabbos. So Rabbi Chagai's diak for the Mishnah is a valid diak, because the Mishnah Taka is saying that that which is normally Tzuras Pesach doesn't work by Shabbos. That's why I need 3 strings. But in Tay, we're going to say that all we're saying over there is that minatzad doesn't work, right? In Taymar minatzad, Chagai is not saying anything, because there, the reason why I have to put out 3 ropes is because it's minatzad, because they're all on the side. But milamala taka, 1 rope might be enough. Now here the carbonator says there's something missing, and it should say mimanavshach. No matter what, it's difficult. You should just, in other words, why do you ever need 3 ropes? Only on the top works, so just the 1 rope and put it on top. Well, you need 3 ropes, so that should ever be the case. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yirmiyah says the potter basuyin kamin dekorim. So about a case where the poles which hold the ropes are not so strong; they're like little twigs. So therefore, it's easier actually to maintain structural integrity, not to tie the rope across the top, but to tie 3 ropes across the side. And Chanami, that's a weird answer. A rope across the top works. The case Rabbi Chagai is presenting us a case where one would not have wanted to do that because the structural integrity of such a structure would not work. But that's why I'd rather do it on the side.
Okay. I'm afraid that people are going to misinterpret that as being okay.
No. First of all, it's the middle of a caravan. It's the middle of the desert, so who's going to misinterpret? Okay. Rabbi Zir, Rabbi Avduma, the Chayv Hashem Logger said, "L'gol v'afila me'amon." Height of Tzuras Pesach even be up to 100 amas. Rabbi Yehuda said, "Hodadatam li'kilayim." That's true about kilayim. Avlina says you're paid, but it should be an Indian Shabbos, as it says himself herein. Lote be'eg v'omin akvoro, just like a beam cannot be more than 20 amas on the ground, so the Tzuras Pesach cannot be more than 20 amas on the ground. Rabbi said, not true. Outright, the Rabbi say kilayim is Shabbos, both by kilayim and Shabbos, you can be as tall as you want. Why can Tzuras Pesach be as high as you want, whereas Korah has to be within 20 amas? Says Mar Korah Matels Miruach Achas. A Korah only works on one side. You can only have a lovely which has 3 walls, have a Korah on one side. Korah doesn't work on all 3 sides. And that's because it's a reminder. So a reminder has to have some thickness. Whereas Peh doesn't work. Tzuras Pesach doesn't work, which means it does work. Even if it's not, even to close off on 4 sides. So if it has to be, it's really a wall, not just a reminder. Since it's a wall, not just a reminder, so therefore it doesn't matter how high it is, it's still the wall. B'shem Avinun, Rabbi Zera said, name Rabbi Nun, pay him until such a time confess and Arachoseh. Pay doesn't save you, it says pass until it's on all 4 sides. Alright, but our memo touch to travelers b'shemakrachim. Awnings in front of a store which you have in a large city, also tatachteim not allowed to carry underneath them. Neishain sof tikra, because they are the end of a roof, they're not part of the roof proper. Vein sof tikra matzu mishum peo, and therefore they are not, they don't work because of Tzuras HaPesach. Again, because the Tzuras HaPesach has to have a door frame. If you have an awning which juts out the street, there's no door frame, so it can't be a Tzuras HaPesach, right? Just have the lintel and the two lintels and the mezuzah. Rabbi Bilga said, the case came for Rabbi Yirmiyah, Barbabunim and 4 poles, Valam Arpistilus, upon which there were 4 sticks. For each of the Tatal Tachtani, he allowed you to carry underneath them, because they were Tzuras HaPesach. Rabbun Rabbanan, it should be Rabbun Rabbanan, Bonkun, Rabbi Zera, Pale Mashnati Besuk. Can you build a sukkah exclusively out of Tzuras HaPesach? You knew this was coming, right? Says Marmalais, he said, I'm alone, Pale Matzelis Besukah. Yes, it works. You can use it, right? What about the end of the schach? Can the end of the schach save us in sukkah? I forgot what this means. Yeah, if you don't have a door frame. What about just the end of the schach? If you want to use as your lintel, right? You don't have an actual separate door frame. You want to use the schach. It says Amar Lon ain't so schach matzu b'sukkah. It doesn't work. You have to have lintel frames. Ma'abin says, and naslakach, say naslakach. Depends if it's made for the purpose of entry and exit or not. Amar Rabbi said, calling reliably and masl matzah is all in terms of talking in the base matters. Negotiations, discussions. But the basket also learns you can't basket that a sukkah is based on Tzuras HaPesach. Has to have actual walls. And mine sukkah, the sukkah is a lighter domain of halacha. At the Amaros, you say it's also to use Tzuras HaPesach. Shabbos! Hakamula, which is much more stringent local, so you can't use the Tzuras HaPesach by itself. Rabbi Mechiyabu Kum Rabbi Zira. That's the case. Montana pay myself. Who said Tzur Spencer works by Shabbos? Lord Rabbi Yochanan Nuri isn't Rabbi Yochanan Nuri we had on our base. Harmley says, yeah, Vihitana, Taka. Rabbi Yochanan Nuri holds Tzur Spencer works by Shabbos, but we don't hold that way, unless the Tzur Spencer are within 10 amos of each other, or there's Omei Meruba anyway, right? It's more standing structure, free space. Free space. So you cannot say, lean and climb in terms of kilayim, anything which is less than 3 tvachim, any gap is less than 3 tvachim, kisasim, it's like it's closed up because of lavut, right? Bishlosh rabbav, it's more between 3 and 4 tvachim, so it's not automatically closed up. Then it depends, according to the first opinion. If there's more standing structure than free space, mutzah, then it's permissible. There's a kilayim, and you can plant vines on one side and grain on the other side. It's more open area than standing space is forbidden. It's between 4 and 10 amos. Same thing. It's more standing space and free area, it's permissible. Vice versa, then that which is corresponding to the standing structure is okay. You can plant grain on one side, wheat on the and one on the other side. Parts but not opposite the open space. The reason for that is that a wall in halacha is 4 tvachim. Once it's 4 tvachim, it's a wall, right? So therefore, you can plant on either side of it. If it's less than 4 tvachim, between 3 and 4 tvachim, you can't plant on either side of it if it's not halachically permissible. Okay. If the appearance is more than 10, 12 amos, parts, even if there's more structure than open space, corresponding to open space is forbidden, is permissible. Parts opposite the open space is forbidden to intermingle. Okay. Linear Shabbos. That's all in terms of key line. Linear Shabbos from Shabbos. Anytime we have a gap less than 3 tvachim, because Tosim says to close. B'shlosh v'arba, between 3 and 4 tvachim, or mi'arba at Esser between 4 and 10. Im ha'emer rabba parts. If there's a majority of standing space over open space, mutzah missile, and vice versa. Your parts rabba oimer is more open space than closed space. Also, it's forbidden. Yoitzim Esser, it's more than 10 amos. Even though there's more the standing structure than free space, also it is forbidden. Okay, why is that? Because the walls don't interconnect. That's what we're saying. And Rayuda Bar Pazi B'Shem Yochim said, "Leis kam b'shlosh v'arabah." There is nothing. I forgot what that means. What's that?
No difference.
There's no difference between what's between 3 or 4, right? Yesh meaning yesh compared to shlosha. If there's a gap of 3, ain't kam makam arba. Right? There's no 4 tvachim wide of wall. Yeah, what it means is like this. I'm not making myself clear. If you have area which is between let's say 3.5 tvachim, of open, 3.5 tvachim of closed, 3.5 tvachim of open, 3.5 tvachim of closed. It's not good. Why is that? Because this sheet holds, in order to say unmemorable parts, you have to have a wall. And what's the minimum share of a wall? 4. So if it's 4, that would be okay. But 3.5, 3.5 is not okay because your interspersed walls are not considered to be valid walls. Okay? Yesh kapes shloisha and kan shmokom arba. I got it. Kasha, you like this? For a thing that doesn't say if you're in a desert, but keep it kind, we just stick pegs in the ground around your caravan. The Kone Yeshbo Malka, the Kone doesn't have 4 Tvachim. He said, Lo Tidivani Pachas Mishleisha. That's different if it's less than 3. Shekol Pachas Mishleisha Kesasamu. If it's less than 3 Tvachim, it's Lovud. That works. But you want to use the principle of Oime Mrubal HaParutz, that there's more standing structure than free space. That doesn't work unless the standing structure is an actual wall, 4 Tvachim. Okay, it's very interesting. Very interesting dichotomy between Lovud, where the substance is immaterial, and Oime HaParutz, according to the Shita, the Oime has to be the shear of a wall, 4 Tvachim. Okay? Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Mishem Rav said, "Mikomakom became a shomer parutz mutter." He said, whenever Omer parutz, and he said no, even if it's 3.5, 3.5, 3 and 5, as long as you have Omer parutz, it's okay. New sugya. Rashi Psal Yetzim Sukkah. Let's say you have an awning in front of the sukkah, right? Before we had an awning in front of the store. Well, an awning in front of the sukkah, not vis-a-vis shaz, so vis-a-vis sukkah is a kosher part of the sukkah or not. Okay? The Dharm Sukkah, yes. It said, it has to be stretched out over the entire air. It has to stretch out beyond the sukkah. Over the entire area, mean that to be both walls there. Right? You need 3 walls. So in front of the sukkah, they have to both strut out there. Says more Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yosef said, it's a typo. The orders of verse should be even if there's no wall going out in that direction. Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Chiba, and Rabbi Yochanan said that it should be keneged adoifen. It has to be opposite even at one wall. Now, if it's opposite one wall, so it actually looks like this.
What is the problem? Are you worried about the shade?
Yeah. So here's the wall, see? It's much shorter, right? But the actual sukkah goes further like that. So even though one wall ends here, right? Right, nevertheless, if you hope Psal, it's in a sukkah, it's sukkah, so this whole area over here, you can use nonetheless. Is that clear? That's called the Psal Yetzim in a Sukkah because it doesn't have 3 walls there. It only has 1 wall, or 2 walls max. Or only this wall and that wall.
Do that one more time.
Psal Yetzim in a Sukkah is like this.
The table is...
Okay, graphic. Truly graphic.
Also gets you to get up.
I wasn't asleep.
You're fighting it though.
Of course I'm fighting. For a change, I'm successful. I think. Was I asleep yet? No. Look, this is a big...
You don't know if you were sleeping or not.
We got you on tape. It's too late, man. Aye.
Okay. This is all schach. But the wall on this side goes all the way down, right?
Right.
And on this side there's a wall over here too.
Right.
Here the wall stops halfway down.
Oh, okay.
So this is called Psal Yetzim in a Sukkah. This area beginning here, beyond the end of the wall on this side.
So the awning is where you're standing.
The awning, this is all awning here.
Oh.
So according to one opinion, this is okay. Rabbi Yossi Nicha. According to Rabbi Yossi, says even there's no wall on the side, it's still psal. So there's a chiddush here, right? What's the chiddush? That the wall already stopped, right? But still the sukkah is kosher beyond here, right? Even though it's just an awning. But according to the other opinion, what's the chiddush? It's no different than in any case we have 3 walls, and the 3rd wall could be shorter. So it's partial that in this case it's mutter, right? If you hold nimshach doifen ba'adei, that the wall continues on one side, so it's partial that the awning is kosher. What's the chiddush? Okay, that's what Yerushalmi is about to say. Adai Rabbi Yisnichel is a chiddush. Adai Rabbi Chia Barba, mahi kaltaba. What cooler did you tell me? He didn't tell me anything I didn't know. Of course it's going to be mutter. So it's more very interesting. No, it's chamsa meruba b'tzilasa. In this case, even the chiddush is, obviously not in terms of the walls, but it says this part of the schach can be chamasa meruba b'tzilasa, can have more sun than shade. As long as the initial part of the sukkah has more shade than sun, then the awning can have more sun than shade. As long as one wall goes with it, it's a continuation. The sukkah at that point is kosher. Okay, that's the
Why is
chiddush.
there more sun than shade on that side?
Because you didn't put up enough slach.
Oh, okay. Nothing to do with the fact that the walls...
Just the Matthias. Right. Says once I thought b'chamasam ruva tzilasa. Chamasam ruva tzilasa psul. It said if you have more sun than shade, it's possible. That sounds like a mechza. If it's 50-50, it's kosher. And on the other hand, it says later in the Masechta, sukkah meduv leles, a sukkah which is lean. Shetzilasam ruva chamas, as long as there's more shade than sun, it's kosher, which sounds like mechza is possible. It's got to be more. So it sounds like 50-50 is okay. It sounds like 50-50 is possible. So said the truth is 50-50 is okay. Except Shani the Elon Shadarka Leafsa. There's certain trees which shrivel up, expand, their leaves drop. And there, even if you start out with 50-50, the odds it's going to become possible during the time of Sukkot. So therefore, in that case, you can't line 50. Okay? Sukkah Yishar, an old Sukkah, one made earlier in the year, not L'Shem Sukkahs. B'Shai posting, they all have to be L'Shem Sukkah. Beisil, you said till 10:15. U'Beisil Machshir. Do we get till 10:15?
Good.
Beisil Machshir. Beisil said it's kosher. What's the Yishana kosher? So he's made more than 30 days for Yontif. They made it for the purpose of the Yontif, even from the beginning of the year, meaning last year, then it's kosher. Even according to Beis Shammai. What? Carry on. Okay. Tani, we learned. Now go along at the Korban Eidah here, even though there are other Achronim who argue. It's still a mitzvah to do something new l'chavet sukkahs, even according to Beis Shammai. According to Beis Hillel, sorry. According to Beis Hillel, an old sukkah is okay. You still should do something new to it, l'chavet sukkahs. It's a proper mitzvah. What should you do? Chavayim tefach. Construct a new tefach. Symbolic. Re'eser HaKoshu, even a koshu. Ma'anim HaKoshu, even he said just a symbolic construction is sufficient to even according to Beis Hillel, as long as it concerns an entire length or width of the sukkah. Apa matzah. Now, also by matzah, let's say the same thing. That matzah yishon is a machlokas, right? Whether it's properly done or not. Matzah yishon, tiflu to Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, let it be a machlokas. Rabbi Yosef said divrei koli. Now here, even Beis Hillel can see that old matzah is not a good matzah. Even though you thought you made it properly, you came into the Shem Pesach since it wasn't made for the purpose of Pesach expressly, just it was not chometz, so it wasn't made for the purpose of Pesach. Davar b'yishlo dik but certainly we assume that you were not properly meticulous in making sure that it didn't become chometz as much as you claim that you were. Okay? Now, Sukkah Saroim. A sukkah made by shepherds. Sukkah Zeretz, a sukkah made by ceramic potters. Ksheira, it's kosher, because also a sukkah. Sukkah's HaKutim, you gotta double check. Asui so ksheira, if it's made kaloch, it's kosher. Shlokil so psul, because they're afraid that they're gonna mess us up. Haruka is also sukkah la'atzmo. If you make a sukkah for yourself, there's Yerushalmi's famous shita. What do you say? Do we make that bracha? No. Blessed art thou, Lord the God, who commanded us to make a sukkah.
It's leishav a sukkah.
Right. Yerushalmi shita to make allows the sukkah too.
That's only a one-time bracha.
Oh.
You said a bracha when you build your sukkah?
No, I don't have a sukkah.
That's only,
No wonder you don't know what we do.
but that's only a one-time bracha. So they don't hold from
Every year.
shave?
No, you make both.
Oh, you do
He's got both.
You say
Yeah.
sauce and then shave when
Before
you-
you put the sukkah on.
How's the sukkah? If you make a sukkah for somebody else, you say it's lasos sukkah lishma. Sheker shom is over to lasos sukkah for somebody else. It's a remarkable concept because we never have any other bracha like that in Torah.
What's the bracha la sauce?
Lasos sukkah lishmo for his purpose. I think probably I'm just saying this off the top of my head, but I think it's pretty good. It says kol ezach b'Yisrael yesh v'sukkahs. So all the Jews should sit in sukkahs. So we're responsible for somebody else's sukkah. I'm not responsible for Yululav, even though we say it's a vort of arvus, but it's not direct responsibility. By sukkah, I have to make sure you're in the sukkah with me, so if I make a bracha for it. Could be. Sounds Hasidic to me too, but that doesn't mean sheker. Okay, nichnas leishiba. If he goes to sit, he's so asleep. Nichnas leishiba. If when you go in to make the sit, I may have baruch sheker shom mitzvah leishiba sukkah. Right, so you make both barachas according to Yerushalmi. Mishu mevarach aleh b'layla rishon b'layla yokter rishon ein tzarich mevarach aleh od mi'ata. Now the Yerushalmi is also different to that. They told they only make the bracha once a yontif. The Bible also means that on such a sheet, but doesn't pass that way. We make it all the time. But the Bible, the Yerushalmi sheet is only once a yontif. Chana bar Bo b'shem Rav said v'zman. Don't forget shechiyanu. Once it comes dark the first night, you make a shechiyanu. You don't make a shechiyanu when you build the sukkah, because it's not lazman hazeh. When do you make it? Even though you to make a bracha on making the sukkah, you only make the shechiyanu when sukkah actually begins. Okay? He mentioned Rabbi Ilo Amar Tzorch Lezkir Zman, Rav Zina Amar Tzorch Lezkir Zman, Rabbi Chia Barado Avi Lishmu, he made it a halachic statement. Rabbi Zira, Rabbi Yitzchak, Bar Nachman, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Yehuda, Bar Padshin, Rabbi Chama, Rabbi Yeshua, became a Shechashecha once it gets dark. Tzorch La'azkir Zman, he make a Shechiyanu. That's it. I didn't prepare any further. Go home.